Mm, Last week had the most weirdest sinister energy ever. It was like the weirdest week ever. Um, Sadly, I'm not surprised. Very, very sadly, I'm not surprised by this horrific news. And this weekend, there was a lot of tragedies in the news circuit. I think at this point, it's kind of like we can't ignore it. It's beyond trying to ignore how bad it is these days. And I'm just checking my audio real quick, guys. One second, because my last stream didn't have audio for some reason. So I have to keep watching it. As you guys know, YouTube, how YouTube is. One second. Let me just make sure I can hear myself. And it actually gives me a moment to rest my voice because I've really been having to fight a lot of stuff, guys. One second. Okay, let's check my audio. Okay, the audio is working. Finally, great. Okay, back to what I was saying, guys. So I am not that shocked, sadly, by the news. Actually, I've been having, as you guys know that follow me, I've been having a lot of really creepy dreams about certain celebrities and certain places in America that I think are gonna face a lot of trouble in the near future. I actually had a conversation with my mom about a lot of people that are gonna be taken out of here, a lot of just violence. And sadly, I was proven right like the very next day. The very next day, those people don't even know that there's actually this Grammy nominated opera singer who was also stabbed in his house by his son, allegedly, as well in California. Um, California has a really sinister vibe. I don't want to like necessarily generalize, but, like, whenever I see, video or pictures nowadays of California on TikTok, I kinda cringe because anybody who's spiritually attuned can kind of pick up, the evil vibe, and the sad part is it's not just Hollywood, guys, it's America in general. Um, Other countries are now trying to mimic the violence that we have in this country. For example, Australia. Sadly, over the weekend, there was a pew pew spree on the beach in Australia, and Australia has seen some rare but dark days. Um, what's obvious to me is that people are getting their kicks from what happens in America. People are basically mimicking this country. America has been put on this invisible pedestal for as long as anyone can remember. And the culture of violence in this country is being duplicated now across the globe. So I had my premonition. I had my feeling that something really, really bad was going to happen this weekend in the news circuit. And it wasn't just Australia. And it's not just this very, very famous director and his wife who have impacted and made, a lot of American, classic American movies. Then we had a university, and other universities and other cities in America that this just past weekend, were on lockdown. And sadly, very, very sadly, a lot of lives were lost. A lot of people's lives were taken. So there is definitely this pattern of violence. And I honestly get PTSD, guys. I get triggered every single time. And I think to myself, I'm reminded a lot that I live in a very unsafe country. I don't care about the money. I don't care about fucking fame. I don't care about none of that shit. What I care about is my health. What I care about is my financial stability in order to live a healthy lifestyle. And I care about, exploring this beautiful world that I believe was made to enjoy and not the world we live in now and definitely not the country in the way it is now. So Um, Very sinister vibes. I never get migraines. I never get migraines, guys, like, ever. Like, I rarely get headaches. I rarely get migraines, and I've been coming on here and sharing what dreams I have and all types of shit. I've been telling you guys about what I see coming up, and it's just it's happening. Like, the very next day that I told my mom that a lot of celebrities are gonna be just, like, taken away from us, and so much talent, so many people are just gonna, like, literally vanish, um, was not a joke, was not a drill. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't, like, this made up story. Like, the very next day, this happened. And it's horrific. It's not just like, "Oops, I slipped and fell." You know what I'm saying? Like, the deaths of these people are violent, are vicious, and the culture of these predominantly male people, picking up weapons and going into public spaces, i.e., schools, universities, the beach, church, other countries now sadly are trying to mimic the violence, the culture of violence in America, and they're trying to duplicate it. And sadly, we have people who are supposed to be helping American citizens and helping the world. They're all in for themselves and their pocketbook. They're all in about themselves and how much money they can make off us. That's why I did not participate in Black Friday this year. I did not participate in Cyber Monday either. Like, I felt no need because these employees are not getting paid properly, right? Like, no one's getting compensated properly. They're getting record profits, but yet people's quality of lives and quality of living has not improved. Like, there's rarely any profession in America or any place in America where life expectancy has risen or people are better off. Like, it's not happening. And so it's just like, if people just do their research about, like, the quality of life in this country versus other countries, I really feel like they would have their eyes opened. And I know so many people personally, guys, like, on a personal level, who are much older than me, okay? Much older than me. They've been in the American workforce for probably, like, decades. So, they have an advantage, right? I'm much younger, so I don't have an advantage per se, but I know people personally who've, like, worked in this country, born and bred, like, were born in this country and have left. They have families, they're married, some are single, some are married, some have kids and married, like, and pets, like, they're out of here. One of my neighbors has pulled his sons out of the schools, because he realizes that the brainwashing, the toxic comparison culture, once again, the violence, the bullying, like, the whole American culture for these kids is toxic. It's toxic. And so, he's homeschooling his kids with his wife, and the list goes on and on and on. So, once again, I just wanna say rest in peace to Rob and Michelle. Um, I knew this director, like, very well in terms of, like, his quality of work, and whenever I would see him on the television or see him, like, on, interviews, like, I always felt like he had a very, very nice energy about him. And whoever did this to him, not gonna go into, like, allegedly with all that because it's not been confirmed yet, but there is people in custody. There is a person in custody. Obviously, people know about that already, but, like, this is just, like, the culture. Like, I really feel like it's the culture, like, these spoiled, rotten nepo kids in Hollywood, in California, they don't get their way, and this is how they get away with it. Like, this is how they lash out, is by taking lives. It's very American. It's very American. Like, if a man, especially a male, does not get his way, this is what he does. He gets a weapon and he goes off and he takes innocent lives. And it's the culture. It's a part of the culture here. I don't care what anyone says. Like, I've lived in America long enough and the entitlement is crazy. Like, the male entitlement is crazy, and there's not enough people in quote unquote power who are talking about this epidemic of young men, especially, who are extremely violent. They're American born, they're American made, and they're going off the deep end. And why? Because people are work slaves here. Like I was telling somebody before all this went down, I was literally telling somebody, like, living in America literally feels like you're on a plantation. It feels like you're on a plantation. Like, you are a slave. And it's like you're just working, trying to get to the light at the end of the tunnel. You're just working every single day, trying to get out of here, and it's sad that so many immigrant families have been bamboozled. They're still being bamboozled. And so if you just care about money only and you don't care about morals and you don't care about your health, this is a country for you. But if you have morals and you care about your health and you want your kids to be safe and you want to have kids, I don't recommend America. I've lived here for more than 2 decades. I don't recommend it. I don't recommend it to anybody who has a soul and wants to be healthy because this country drains you. And I have to speak on this. Like, there are so many people out here who want to rent like luxury cars and like I mean, I'll put it this way. You'll see people that drive Lexuses and their house is like a hut. Like, they don't even maintain their bedroom. They don't have proper furniture in their house, but yet in their driveway they have a Lamborghini or they have a Lexus and they can't even pay their bills. Like, that's the American culture, guys. Like, people here, just speaking from experience, my international viewers, like, from experience here, like, people try to flex what they don't have. And so when you try to flex what you don't have, you're always trying to compare your life to somebody else, and you're never gonna have enough because the flesh, as the Bible says, the flesh is never satisfied. So the sad flip side of this coin is that if you don't see these nepo kids, taking out their parents or taking out other innocent people, the other flip side is that they take out themselves and they inflict that pain on their parents. There's a lot of Hollywood celebrities where their kids have overdosed, right? Their kids are doing stupid things. Why? And they're millionaires, but upstairs, mentally, spiritually, they're not intact. They're living a life that's empty. So, you know, I really hope that this culture of violence is gonna stop, and I really wish that other countries that are more civilized than America would stop trying to worship America. America is the modern Babylon. End of story. America is the modern Babylon. They worship money. They worship the wrong things. And this is the result. You have a talented couple that was trying to creatively express themselves and they got wrapped up with they're being taken out. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I don't know how many excuses, basically. I don't know how many excuses the American people are going to make for this country. Like, you gotta be exhausted because I am. Like, just living here, like I said, it's a plantation. It's a plantation. You're not free. You're never free. And the lack of nature, the lack of just everything basically, is abysmal. And, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I was too young to leave, you know what I'm saying? For those who are wondering, like, I was too young. So, I was out of age and I did not graduate. So, now that I'm of age and I've graduated, I'm like, it's not easy because, of course, like, this is the most expensive time ever to live in America, and I happen to be stuck here, but, like, I've told you guys, like, the second I can get the fuck out of Dodge, I will be leaving. because I literally cannot take it anymore. Like, every single week, there is something about a shooting, there is something about just extreme tragedy, and it's normally linked with violence. Femicide, violence, in the home, violence, public space, violence, and it doesn't stop, and I don't know if this is, 1,000% true, but according to the data of just this year alone, they're saying that there has been more pew pew incidents in America than there's days in the year. In this country, in America, the United States of America, we have had more pew pew incidents than days in the year. And so it just the energy of violence and just sadly, like, male rage, that's misplaced anger and misplaced, like, low self-esteem, sadly is resulting into them taking their parents' lives, taking their girlfriends' lives, taking innocent people that are shopping, that are in church praying lives. We saw a bunch of kids lose their lives in a church, a Catholic church, just a couple months ago in this country. It was breaking news all over the news. So, it doesn't stop, and I just think that if you're a sane, healthy person, and it's like I said, especially if you wanna have kids or you just wanna have a as a single person, or maybe you're whatever, as just a human being, like, you wanna have a healthier quality of life, I just think that, like, America is not the place for people who are healthy. It's a place for people who are money hungry and are trapped. That's what I see. It's not a place for people who wanna have a healthy work-life balance. It's not a country for people who put God first. These people are out here are not putting God first, guys. They're putting money first. That's the biggest thing I see out here, is people buying what they don't have, and I'm proud. I'm very proud that I did not support Black Friday or any of these cuckoo sales, fake sales this year, because they don't pay people enough, These employees are slaving away behind these disgusting counters full of oversaturated junk, and the prices are ridiculous, the wages are too low, and so the more that we're just putting up with this, the less things are gonna change, guys. So anyway, I have had to battle burnout all year, and I'm just really sad that people have to live like this and that Americans who, you know, that are born and bred here, like, I don't know how they excuse me. I don't know, excuse me. I don't know how they reckon with this. Blow my nose, guys. I don't know, I don't know how they feel safe living in this country. I really don't know. So, with that said, my condolences not just to Bob and Michelle, but to every single innocent person this weekend in America who's lost their lives in a tragedy, and a tragedy that seems to happen every single day in America, every week in America, I should say, which is more, accurate. But yeah, I mean, every week across this country, there is something devastating. So if you're of age, you're over the age of 21, you're over 18, my best advice is to, you know, think of an exit plan, think of an exit strategy, get the hell out of this country if you cherish your life. If you're in university, I don't know what to tell you, because, like, when you're ready in university, it's hard to get out of a program. Program is right. It's hard to get out of, signing up for classes unless you can do it online. But, if I was a lot younger, like back in my teenage years, and, I knew more and it was around like 2025, I would not be here. I would be like trying to find every study abroad program to get the fuck out of here. Genuinely. Nowhere is perfect, but there's only one country that the data and, quite frankly, the news, like, the news will show you that like every week there is mass casualties. And so um when you've been living in America for so long and this is the culture here, it gets very draining. Like, I find living in America very, very draining. And I'm praying that wherever I decide to go, after I lived my life in America, I really am praying and hoping to God that I will be able to, you know, just have a better quality of life because at least in America, um, my quality of life, my quality of health, I think is pretty low. Genuinely speaking, I think it's very, very low. And you know, as the years go by, you cherish your health, and you have to be around healthy people, a healthy society. And the biggest issue across America is that we're surrounded by people who are not well in the head, you know, um, call it whatever you want, demon possession, narcissism, whatever, all the above, right? We're just surrounded constantly by people threatening people's lives. And I don't think it's normal to go to church. I don't think it's normal to go to school. I don't think it's normal to be in your house as an accomplished director, writer, producer, all the above, actor, work your ass off, right? And then is taken. Why? Because of violence. And it's just a higher occurrence in America. It's a higher statistic, it's a higher occurrence in America. And I just feel like I've told you guys this. I've told you guys so many times about what's to come to the point where it's like a broken record. You know what I'm saying? It's like literally a broken record. And I think that people hopefully now have gotten the point that nothing is changing, nothing is getting better. I don't care what party these people are representing. Like, this has been happening for decades, guys. I have been in America for over 2 decades and it's only gotten worse. And I am not going to live the rest of my life in a country that is promoting this kind of violence. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just can't do it. And I don't know how people are so numb to this. Like, no matter how numb a person is, like, you have to understand that, like, you're in a country that doesn't care if you die. Like, do people understand that, like, all these stories you see of people going to church, going to school, whatever, like, that could be you. That could be anybody. Like, I've had my own personal experience. If you guys, like, see my other videos I've made about what in September, like, I have had personal experience of this kind of violence in this country, in a rich area at that. It was one of the richest in my state, and I've had very, very bad experiences. So it's the culture. It's a part of the culture, and the free accessibility to these kind of weapons is once again, it's embedded in the American culture, and until things radically change and get better, this is what we get. This is like what is expected. And I think other countries that look at us have the right to be concerned. I definitely think that other countries that are looking at us have every right to be scared out of their mind that we're living like this. And I hope Australia can figure out where the hell that, father and son came from, because the situation that happened on Bondi Beach was a father and son duo, and it was very American. Like, that's what happens here, like, these guys go out and they just go crazy, and so, sadly, the violent culture in America is spreading, to other c parts of the world because America has been put on this, honestly, tombstone pedestal of worshiping the wrong things. They worship sex, they worship money, they worship lawlessness, um, godless energy. Like, they worship things that are just low vibrational. And I'm sad to say, guys, but that's my experience in America. That's my experience. I've traveled all over this country. I've lived in this country for over 2 decades. And they have their priorities all wrong, like completely wrong. And the fact they can try to shove these holiday shopping events in our face and not pay people correctly is insane to me. Like, these wages have not gone up. The cost of living in this country has skyrocketed, and they're doing nothing, absolutely nothing to help the working class, which is the majority of people who live in this country, is the working class. So I don't understand how it's unacceptable, it's unacceptable. So, sadly, they're victims of whatever is spreading in this country of just evilness and darkness and sadness, like whatever's going on, it feels like it's spreading. We have to pray against it. We have to rebuke it, guys, and we really have to like be on alert because some people, a lot of people, I should say, they are asleep at the wheel. They are not aware at all of what's going on. They're just not. And we have to be 10 steps ahead because like what happened at the university, other people alerted other people. That's what happened. They let people know, hey, don't go in this area because there's an active person, taking lives. So unless people are able to get that together and figure something out, this is what's going to continue, guys. So don't expect anything different because this has been happening literally for decades and nothing has changed. Other presidents have tried to implement different policy to change this, to crack down, and nothing has been successful. So, um, as an adult, as a young adult, take with that information as you will. Like, save your life, save your bloodline, save your sanity. That's really what I want to say. So, thank you guys for watching. Rest in peace to every victim that died this past weekend in the week of December. Um, Sadly, not shocking, but it makes me feel sick, honestly, just seeing it. And I wish it would stop. I really do wish this violence would stop in this country, but it only increases just look at the data, guys. Every year it increases. And we have to fight back, which means we have to live a life that doesn't accept this. And if that translates into leaving, if that translates into whatever you want to translate it into, like it just means that we're not going to live like this. I'm not going to live like this. And I really hope that people get the strength to understand that this is not normal and that no other country is living like this. And for a country that is so prideful about how much money they have, it's the most unsafe. And to me, that is actually just sadly hilarious. Like, you should be the most safe, but we're not. Living in America, we're the most unsafe out of next to other countries that are also very unsafe. But in terms of the Western world, we're the most unsafe. And so I'm tired of it. I am beyond tired of it. And I just really want people to ring the alarm that this is not normal. This is not okay, guys. This is not normal. This is not okay. All right. So take care of yourselves, guys. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed already, feel free to subscribe, share this video, whatever platform you want to share it on. But my God, rest in peace to especially Rob and Michelle. And I really hope that from that horrific event that God just spared them from feeling that. I mean, that is just a crazy way to go. And no one deserves that. No one deserves that. And I just think it's crazy. It's actually just batshit crazy, guys. Wow. Hoping the rest of this month in December is going to be okay.